All right, let's get straight to it. So the Nightfall for this week is the Pyramidion, and we are doing it on Prestige, which requires a 300 light level. You can do it if it's lower, but it recommends that you got that. The burns for this week are Torrent, which gives you boundless power, so your super, your class abilities will recharge super fast, and 0 hour, which means there's no way to increase your time. You just got your set time limit, and that's all that you've got to work with. You can see down the bottom right, we start with 17 minutes. First thing you do is jump straight on your speeder bike and gun it for the Pyramidion. You want to get in there as soon as humanly possible. The enemies that start off will have a lot of AoE attacks, so you want to group together and make sure you're doing what you can to stay alive. Any time that you're in their line of fire, they're going to do a lot of damage to you. Now you see I threw grenades straight away, and pretty much straight away the grenades are back. You can just spam grenades like there's no tomorrow. The more grenades you get in there, the better, and they're on endless supply. You'll also notice that I went invisible for a second there. Having a hunter, particularly a Night Stalker with invisibility grenades, does wonders. You'll see why later on, really helpful. So you want to activate the plate on the left, then you come over to the right and activate the second plate. Watching out for enemies. The Harpies aren't too much trouble, but the goblins, the elite goblins with the yellow health bars, they shoot explosive area of effect damage. As you see there, I just got killed by it. See there, that's where you see the stealth comes in, hugely helpful. So all that AoE damage, reviving allies becomes really difficult during this Nightfall run. So having someone who can go invisible, run in, revive an ally, run back out, becomes incredibly helpful.
Okay, kill ads.
Again, you see the more grenades the better, just throwing those shot grenades. If you're a Titan, being a striker, having those pulses is so helpful. You just throw them in there, let them do their work, let them do the area of effect damage over time, and you can sit back in relative safety and let them do all the hard work. After you've activated those two plates, you want to kill the enemies as fast as you can, and then as soon as that's ready, jump on your speeder and come down this hallway. Don't boost down this hallway. You'll go too far, usually get flipped over. Lady gets knocked over at that last point, so we just keep going.
Can you get the res? Thank you. Let's go.
You can move into this next bit. I found that it's helpful to get off the Sparrow. Sometimes you can boost down, but the fall damage will hit you and hurt you. So I try and clear out these enemies, and it does not help. Now, one of the things about this is this strike, there's almost no places where you're waiting for doors to open or lifts or anything else. So if you're down, everyone else can just move on, as you can see what happens here. And so you just wait for the respawn, and that'll suck you forward to another checkpoint. Again, you just saw a glimpse of it there. Lady used a stealth grenade so that she could get past all the enemies. And my friend and I are up here waiting for that respawn. See here, hit the checkpoint in the top left.
Yep, respawn.
So now we're good to respawn, and we just get pulled straight ahead. So as long as one of you gets forward into that, so slowing down to help allies at that point is a waste of time. This is the second area where you have to kill enemies. There's enemies everywhere. So again, you see I'm throwing in my my grenades. Friends running in there with Arc Strider Super. So we had one hunter running Arc Strider, one hunter running Night Stalker for that stealth. They both went down, but again, we died a number of times. It's not the end of the world. But the enemy do hit really hard, especially on this Prestige difficulty. Here again, just popping out for a second, throwing down those grenades and letting them do the damage while you're sitting behind cover. Really, really useful. Obviously, you don't have to be a Titan to pass this, but we found it incredibly helpful for just clearing out enemies. Very rarely used my guns. Every now and then pull out the rocket launcher. Also, that's the raid rocket launcher, so it reloads on its own when you don't have it out. So I would pull it out every now and then, fire off a shot. Laser trip areas. once we cleared out that round area, lots of enemies spawn in here. So if you get someone in there to use their roaming super, take everything out, hit everything as hard as you can, because this next portal won't open up until everything's dead. I actually ran in a little bit early, thought it would kill all the enemies, but more had spawned in. So we finished them off and went through the portal. Now you get to your... And I didn't even see that first one coming and died straight away. But again, it's one that it's probably not worth it to go back and res people. Lady was very kind and res me anyway because she was just there. But more often than not, you're better off just running ahead. The timing on these lasers can be very tricky. Sometimes you feel like you quite clearly made it through, but it still damages you anyway. So just be careful. They usually do about half a shield's worth of damage each one hit, depending on the laser. Some of them are one-hit kill. Some of them will just hurt you. Now we get onto the next area where the objective here is to stand on 3 plates. You see it up there, activate the altars. So there's one over on the left-hand side, one in the middle, and one towards the right-hand side. So enemies will start off round to the left. So we had our friend go and use his super over there, clear round to the left. We move in his wake, pick up all the orbs of light, capture that first plate. Once you capture that first plate, big enemy, well, any plate, big enemies will spawn in. So be aware that as good as it is to clear adds, you're going to have some big people to deal with as soon as the plates are captured. So we have our first big enemy spawn in here. So again, we had all sorts of heavies and supers going on, because really this is all about speed. You want to be hitting everything as hard as you can, as fast as you can. There's plenty of heavy ammo to go around, and there's grenades and supers for days. So the more damage you can get on enemies, the better.
3, 2, 1, res available.
And see again there I captured that second plate, and then another big enemy spawned. So you technically don't have to kill the adds to clear the plates, but they do a lot of AoE damage. It becomes very difficult to do anything otherwise. You can just run past these last enemies, get into the next gate, and you're on to another running laser section. This one's with the moving lasers. Now we tried this section a couple of times, sometimes trying to run through, sometimes trying to hit enemies there. I got zapped, but again, if your friends can get through, then when you respawn, you'll hit the new checkpoint. So there's not much point to go back for the revive. You really got to watch at the end of this tunnel. There's a phalanx cabal taken, the guys with the shield that'll push you back. So if you don't take them out, you're in serious trouble for that one. So with this final section before the boss, you got to hack 4 network towers. So this is where, more than anywhere else, having a Night Stalker hunter with invisible grenades makes a huge difference. So straight away, Lady popped an invisibility grenade, activated that first tower. I moved down here to the right, again, just using those shock grenades whenever possible. Clearing out that second tower. Again, not skimping on the heavy ammo. And you can push in. While we're doing that, there are some hobgoblin snipers up high. So we had our third friend taking care of those and throwing some grenades up to try and clear out those towers. But you really want to watch for those sniping hobgoblins up top. Once they're cleared, you're pretty much free to get in where you need to go. I was not clear to get in where I needed to go. What happened there was Lady tried to stealth grenade. I'd run a little bit too early, a little bit too fast, and ended up getting killed for it. So again, this area, you don't have to clear all the adds. We prioritized killing as few adds as possible. So you see up there, everyone's dead, but we managed to get those 4 towers, which means we can get up through that tower at the back. 2 friends coming in at the back there. They separated out so that the enemies would be harder for them to take them out. And as you can see, there's enemies everywhere, everywhere. But if you take the time to kill them all, you're wasting very precious time. So as you can see down the bottom right, we got into the final boss with about 6 minutes to spare. Lady tried to come in and rescue me. It was unsuccessful, but that was all right. I respawned and our friend had gotten through the portal. And again, as long as one person gets through that portal, everyone else can respawn where they need to be. As soon as you get down, you want to jump forward on the plate at the front, start the boss spawning in. And again, there is quick reloads on supers, grenades, the whole shebang. So just hitting that boss as hard as you can at the beginning. You want them to get him to that teleport stage as quickly as possible. We split into 2 teams then. You got 2 left, 2 left, 1 to the right. Enemies will spawn over on the left-hand side of the boss first. So I stayed over on the right-hand side, shooting enemies from afar, while the 2 others were over there activating that plate. Once all the ads are cleared on that side, then they spawn on my side. Clear the ads with my grenades, and getting helps, supportive fire from the friends on the other side. I went down, unfortunately, but again, you've got 3 people, so you've got someone who can run over and capture that second plate. Once both those plates have captured, shield goes down on the boss, and it's DPS for not very long. You've got a very limited window to hit the boss as hard as you can, and try not to get burnt to death by the purple fire. And then same thing. You go on. You split into 2 teams. In this case, we went 1 on the left, 2 on the right. I had my super up, so I could just clear out those ads as soon as possible. And again, the faster you can clear out those ads, the faster the second team will get their ads to spawn and can get those shields down. So I popped up a nice shield to keep myself safe, and then provided that cover fire from a distance. 2 Minotaurs spawn on the right-hand side, so it's better to have 2 people on that side for this second wave, as the enemies can be pretty strong. It can take a bit of a time to get them down.
There you got her. You good?
But again, I can just lob grenades very freely. So the shield's down. Again, small window of opportunity to DPS the boss. I went down, but that's okay, because once you got the second shield down, then it's a free-for-all. The boss will no longer shield himself, and it's just about how long you take to kill him.
Okay. DPS on the boss.
So we had our friend jump in with his Arc Strider, going for the stun lock, maximum damage. And I'm barely even shooting. I'm just throwing grenades constantly, trying to get those constant shock grenades going on him.
Hit the boss with everything.
And there it is, with just under 3 minutes to spare. That's the Prestige Nightfall done. So you've got the aura on the right. All looking pretty sparkly. And we get to reap the rewards. So good luck. My biggest recommendations would be have a hunter with invisibility. It makes all the difference in the world. Apart from that, just go crazy with your DPS. And good luck.
Go team.
Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.